Today is Sunday, September, I don't know, something. Last weekend in September, second to last. And today I'll be hiking Ellingwood Point and Blanca Peak. For a full hike review of both of these 14ers, you can check the link below. And please give me a subscribe so you don't miss any future hike reviews. So as you can see, maybe by the hills around me here, maybe even in the air, winter has arrived, or is at least starting to arrive in Colorado. Today was calling for sunny skies, which maybe that's behind me moving in here, but you know, every hike here is not predictable. So it doesn't look like there's too much snow on top, just maybe a coating. So far I'm about 4 miles into the hike. Most people hike Blanca Peak and Ellingwood Point from Lake Como, which is on the other side. The reason I'm hiking it from this way is, number one, it's definitely more accessible. You don't have to walk 5 miles up a four-wheel drive road. You know, obviously you have the hike in here. Number two, there's far less people here. And number three, I'm going to be going back to Lake Como in the future to do the Little Bear to Blanca Traverse. So far, this hike is pretty steep. 4 miles and about 2,600 feet of elevation gain from the Zapata Falls trailhead. Very straightforward, but yeah, just hoping for a clear day so I can keep filming. I apologize in advance if some of this audio is not up to par, but yeah, I'll be checking in along the way. And again, for a full hike review of Blanca Peak and Ellingwood Point, you can check the link below. First views of Ellingwood Point, and actually I was gonna say you couldn't see the top, but now you can barely make it out. Good timing. So yeah, I'm gonna be ascending this north ridge here. You can kind of make it all the way up to the top. Made it up to South Zapata Lake. So this is an important point in your hike because you have 3 options now. Your first is to go right here, and eventually you'll work your way up to the ridge, and it's a little bit less steep. So if there's a lot of snow and the colors still, I would say this is different. This is just dusting, but like snow from the season before or winter. This is an easier way if you go over to the right up here. Your other option is this color right here. So if you're going to follow this ridge, there's 1, 2, 3 peaks, and then to the left of that, there's a color. If you continue left, there's another little peak, and then there's another color. That's the crossfire color. You do not want to go into that. The reason being is because in the summer, it's super, super eaten out. So it's like a straight down dirt field. And I just, I would not recommend it. In the winter, because it's a little bit deeper cut, you can kind of see it's deeper. The sun doesn't get to it as much, so it's very icy in there. So even in the winter, I would still recommend C2 color, which is this one. C3 this way, C2 crossfire. So right now it's about 4.92 miles to the lake. You can kind of see the weather around me is really funky, and this is really typical. So up right ahead of me, there's blue skies. Ellingwood Point has been in and out of clouds and snow all morning. There's some dark clouds over there, and then behind me there's clear and blue skies with dark clouds mixed in. So the weather today is going to be super unpredictable. I'm just going to kind of expect for the worst and deal with the best. Luckily I'm prepared with everything. When I get to the top of them, I'll show you looking down crossfire so you can get an idea of why it's really not recommended to go down into that. And I have the camera here now because this is an important decision if you're coming up C2, which is this color right here. So to the left of it, you'll see a crossfire, and you can see it's a little bit more direct. It brings you, a little bit higher up, but you just don't want to go that way. So you just really want to make sure that you are taking C2, which is here, and not crossfire, which is there. I don't know if it's the cold I have or if this is just fucking steep, but moving pretty slow. You can see the top of the color right there, and that'll be my home stretch to the ridge summit, but looking down here, you know, the snow is not too bad. It's kind of crusty, which is pretty nice actually, because the micro spikes dig right into it. Going down might be a different story, but going up now, so I'm worrying about right now. Pretty steep here, but the snow I think is actually making it a little easier to grip. I am so close to the end of this damn couloir. I can't wait to get to this ridge line. Finally on the ridge line, and Ellingwood is right there. Blanca's over there. Quickly, the wrong couloir, and you can see why you don't want to take it. Very crappy, steep. So the top is right there. That's Mount Lindsay over there, which it's another 14er. You can just see the crazy difference in the snow level. Right down there valley, no snow. All the way back there, no snow.
So one thing to point out is that you can see that past this group of clouds is completely clear. But the problem is that the mountain seems to be creating its own weather. So when the clouds go by, they are backed in by new clouds formed on the mountains, and it's just really frustrating because I keep thinking I'm going to get clear weather and I'm not.
Well, I knew today's weather was going to be iffy, and this is just the worst. I'm on the top of Ellingwood Point, and you couldn't tell if I was sitting on the ground on 2 feet sea level. There's zero visibility over here, and unfortunately for me, that means I have to make a decision to either wait this out or venture over to Blanca basically blind. So I'm really hoping this blows through so I can at least get a view of what the conditions are like over there. These clouds have been coming in and out of these peaks all day, so hopefully this is just going to blow through and, you know, I'll be able to go over to Blanca. I have to say, with this little snow, this was definitely not a low class 3 route, because you had to choose certain ways that avoided some of the snow. You're really dealing with some pretty exposed stuff, and I'm so happy I have my spikes, and I'm pissed that I left my mountain axe down at south of Zabana Lake. So I'm going to be hopefully checking in again before I go back down, but I got to make a smart decision right now, and you know, if it keeps up like this, I'm going to have to just go back and leave Blanca for another day. Alright, so it cleared up a bit. I'm going to go for it. Blanca's still completely covered in clouds, but I can at least see the ridge, and I can make out the standard trail in the distance if I really need to take that. So I'm pretty optimistic, and hopefully I can just get over there before the weather turns worse. I don't think it's calling for anything. As a matter of fact, I just checked the forecast, and there's no snow or thunderstorms or anything, so it's just dealing with these clouds, which, you know, are a pain in the ass, but that's the worst they have to deal with. I'll be okay with it. So the thing to remember, I'm kind of off trail right now because it's hard to find it, but basically if you're going to take, there's 2 different ways to go here. So if you want to go lower and take the standard trail, you might be able to make it out. It kind of like works its way there, cuts across, and then takes the ridge up. The way to avoid some elevation loss and a little bit more exposure like class 3 is to go kind of down here around this section, like you don't want to cliff out, and then hook up with the ridge. So instead of going all the way around there, you're just going to basically go out there. That's what I'm going to try to do. If it gets too bad, I'll just hook up with the standard trail. You know, based on what I've done so far, it shouldn't be that bad. So finally gained the ridge of Blanca, which is right there. The weather's starting to clear up a bit, which is great. Very windy, so hopefully this audio doesn't suck too much. I kind of did a mix and match of the ridge, but the standard way kind of descends all the way to there, and then you might be able to see the cairn that loops these two trails together. It's a pretty straightforward traverse, that's for sure. There's just one area you can cliff out right here, so you're gonna have to like avoid that. But otherwise, yeah, hopefully I'm at the top soon, and I'm really anxious to get done with this hike. This weather just kind of makes me uneasy, and feel lucky so far and don't want to keep testing that luck. Alright, top of Blanca Peak, I'm pumped. You can look back actually and see the ridge to Ellingwood Point, and actually you can see the ridge to Little Bear, so everything's starting to clear up just in time for me to shoot some footage. Okay, let me give a quick summary of everything. This was a strenuous hike. I'm dead. I mean, I know I have a cold, so my energy is wicked low, but I feel like garbage right now. The standard trail links up about halfway up the ridge with the ridge trail to Ellingwood. Very easy to follow. There's not really anything over a low class 3. Even with the snow today, I had a pretty good time with it. I mean, look at this, everything's clearing up. I'm pretty pumped. So to the summit, 7.85 miles. That might be a little bit off because my watch tends to jump around when I move my hand moves, but so general, probably about 15 round trip back to South Colony Lakes. Because the weather's cleared up, not South Colony Lakes, sorry, Zapata Lake. Because the weather's cleared up, you can actually see down into the plains. You can see the San Juans over there. What else do we got? You can see the you can't really make them out, but Kit Carson Crestones up there. See the beautiful fall foliage. So really excited of the timing of this. I could not be happier right now, honestly. And it's cool because I'm scouting out the ridge. I wanted to go over to Little Bear eventually. Obviously with this kind of weather, it's not in the plan. So let me give a couple of things. Dogs. Honestly, I think you could bring dogs up this. There's definitely some class 3 scrambling, so you might have to carry especially a smaller dog in spots. Definitely not in the snow like today, but in general I think this is definitely a good hike for dogs, especially coming from the lake over there. Gear needed. Today was a kind of a random day, so I needed everything. Micro spikes, I left my Mountain X, I probably should have had that. I'll definitely need poles for the way down. But besides that, this is a really cool hike, and I'm happy to do it from this way as opposed to the Lake Como approach, which most people do. So thanks for watching. For a full hike review of Blanca Peak and Ellingwood Point, you can check the link below. And hey, like I said in previous videos, thank you very much for your support. It's very hard to build a YouTube subscription from nothing. I appreciate everyone who watches and subscribes. And if you want to see me do a hike in the future, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll make sure I get over to that. Thanks for watching.